What is PPM? PPM means parts per million. And you might have heard that this hydrogen machine produces 1 ppm, 2 ppm, or even 5 ppm of hydrogen. Quick recap, what is molecular hydrogen? I want you to imagine the head of Mickey Mouse, which is weirdly identical to the water molecule H2O. His two ears are the hydrogen atoms, and his face is the oxygen atom. Now if you were to separate his face, the oxygen atom, you are left with his two ears, two hydrogen atoms, and they pair together and form molecular hydrogen. Now all you have to picture when you think of hydrogen are the ears of Mickey Mouse paired together, and then that molecular hydrogen gets dissolved back into the water through these machines. For now, back to PPM. PPM is a term used to measure hydrogen concentration in your water, and if you plan on buying a hydrogen machine and testing it, hopefully this video offers some clarity on what PPM actually means. Side note, 1 ppm parts per million is equal to 1000 ppb parts per billion. And 1 ppm can also be referred to as milligrams per litre. So 1 ppm equals 1 milligram per litre. ppm means parts per million. The parts being the hydrogen and the per million being all of the water in the container, no matter what size the container is. It is important to remember that ppm is a dimensionless measurement, meaning it doesn't have a specific length, width or volume. 1 ppm is actually a ratio saying that this amount of hydrogen exists relative to this amount of water. Here's another metaphor or example to help you imagine. You have a large swimming pool filled with 1 million litres of water. If you dissolve 1 litre's worth of hydrogen gas into the water, the concentration of hydrogen would be 1 ppm. In other words, for every 1 million litres of water, there is 1 litre of hydrogen concentration. Now in that scenario, hydrogen wouldn't actually weigh 1 litre, it's just the approximate volume for this example. Now this little machine doesn't contain 1 million litres of water. What you do is you get a magical water scissors and you cut this water into 1 million equal parts. And if it's 1 ppm, one of those parts represents the volume of H2 available inside, existing inside. And if you get 3 ppm, then 3 of those parts are available inside the entire volume of water. By the way, if you want to see me actually measuring hydrogen concentration, you can see me doing it with the H2 Grail in my previous video, which is a much higher concentration than 1 ppm. Hopefully PPM is starting to make more sense. However, how many of those H2 molecules or Mickey Mouse ears are we actually getting? Let's use 1 ppm in a 1 litre bottle as an example again. Let's say the water was at a standard temperature and pressure and we ran an electrolysis cycle. With a 1 ppm measurement, you would get approximately 602 trillion molecules of hydrogen in a 1 litre solution, or in a 1 litre bottle, which is kind of amazing if you think about it, because there are on average 37.2 trillion cells in the human body, and H2 can enter these cells rapidly, almost immediately. So it's almost like nature intended for us to get hydrogen to handle the everyday stresses of life, keeping us strong, healthy, and our heads clear. One important detail to know when measuring hydrogen correctly, I'll use the H2 Grail as an example. I measured 3 ppm on a 10-minute cycle using reverse osmosis water. And when you calculate that in milligrams per litre, it's actually 0.6 milligrams of hydrogen content. It is said that the minimum quantity of therapeutic hydrogen you want to get is 1 ppm per litre or 1 milligram per litre. So if this amount gives 0.6 milligrams of hydrogen, you'd want to at least drink about 2 per day, which is no problem if you're hydrating correctly. In fact, I drink all the way up to 6 plus of these a day. I even find the small size easy and a little bit more motivating to feel like you've reached your quota rather than drinking a large size bottle. And if you want to calculate how much hydrogen you're getting with your machine, I recommend going to the H2 Minutes website, and I'll put a link below, and you can input those metrics into their calculator. I have huge respect for H2 Minutes and their content online, which is an excellent resource for learning about hydrogen. That's all folks, I hope I haven't hurt your brain too much. Play that back a million times until you get it. And I will of course be explaining a lot more about hydrogen when it comes to the science and to the machines themselves, and most importantly the health benefits. H2 Grail are currently selling this portable machine, which I highly recommend. I use it every day for the past 1.5 years, and don't forget to stay hydrogenated.